It features out-of-tune guitars, no bass player, and radical herky-jerky drums that speed up and slow down at random intervals. Well, that record sounds like Dark Side of the Fucking Moon compared to this one.
Then there's the art of vanishing. This really takes a special talent. The moment there's any type of crisis, they evaporate into thin air. The auditors are here. They're demanding to see 5 years worth of past invoicing. Where is Doug? Then she really hits her stride. Take care to like, love, and detest yourself each rainy day.
You test yourself. What's a little self-loathing between friends? There are albums that seek to wax philosophical, asking the big questions about philosophy, the lessons of history, and the fragile state of the human condition. And then there are some albums for just dancing your ass off. Guess which one this is?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Lucky 13. Already there.
Well, that's a weird cat. Like we have a cat that's always on usually just one floor, the main ground floor. She hardly ever comes upstairs, but all of a sudden,
Today she's an upstairs cat.
At the age of 15, she decided our bedroom is a good place. So weird.
You had a very interesting voicemail encounter this week, didn't you?
You know, some people just don't get the message. Have you ever run into those people who keep their voicemail messages like it's a TED Talk written by a manic poet on mushrooms? I called a client the other day, just a normal work call, and her voicemail was a journey. It wasn't a greeting. It was a spiritual test. Hi there. Thank you so much for calling. I'm currently unavailable, but blessings rain down upon you like leftover spaghetti from a heavenly colander.
When you told me this, I was like, what is it, like a voicemail or a sermon from Chef Boyardee? And then she keeps going. Take time each day to make someone else's burden lighter. Just seize some and throw it on the ground, and I'll do the same. And I'm thinking, is this voicemail encouraging mutual littering? If I hang in there long enough, will I get the local movie times?
Then she really hits her stride. Take care to like, love, and detest yourself each rainy day.
You test yourself. What's a little self-loathing between friends?
She finishes strong. Rejoice in the chaos of daily living before we are dead and moldy. Anyway, I'm unavailable, just to recap. Leave a message, if you dare. God bless the children and all the kittens, but not the mice. They nasty.
Well, that wasn't a voicemail. That was a spoken word exorcism. Makes the kind of voicemail that makes you wonder why you even called in the first place. Speaking of which, why do you ever find yourself re-recording your own voicemail greeting like 9 times and making subtle changes? Hi, I can't answer now. Please leave a short message. No, that's not gonna work. Hi, I can't answer now. Leave a short. It's too cheery. Hi, leave message short. That's not gonna do it either. Hi there. I can't answer the phone. This sounds like I'm auditioning for the American Idol of voicemail. Anyway, these people, they're doing the full Shakespeare in the Park.
Now here's the kicker. The woman with the 5-minute spiritual voicemail journey? You know, the one telling me to cast off my burdens, but still hate myself a little. Yeah, I looked at her paperwork later. She's a caseworker for a psychiatric facility.
It sort of explains it a little bit, you know.
Yup. She is literally employed by the local straitjacket hotel. You know, the extended stay loony bin.
George Costanza, completely bonkers.
You know, the 5-star padded walls, complimentary Thorazine kind of place. She's not just in the chaos. She's the project manager. She's out there corralling the crazies. Meanwhile, her voicemail sounds like it was dictated by a Maine Coon that got into antidepressants.
Another woman, I swear to God, her voicemail just says, hi, leave a message, and while you wait for me to get back to you, why don't you just read War and Peace? Like, you just got owned by my voicemail. Well, I just wanted to see if she had Brillo pads, but I appreciate the stringency of her book report suggestions, comrade. Jawohl. And then there's the one guy. His voicemail isn't even his. It's a hostage situation. I call and I get this, hi, this is Willie's phone. He can't answer because that damn fool left me in the trunk again. Beep. Like, what? Did I just get a voicemail from the phone as a plea for rescue?
Is this some kind of Pixar short? And now I'm sitting there debating whether to call 911 or AAA. Yes. Hi. I think a phone is trapped in a Chevy Malibu and it sounds pissed. You don't leave a message after that. You need a follow-up wellness check. Like, hey, Willie, just calling to see if you and your phone are still on speaking terms. Also, blink twice if your glove compartment is sentient.
I used to record our answering machine message and I would deliberately start recording it halfway through. So after the beep, you'd hear, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be gone. So come around the side entrance and you'll see me tied to a chair in the den. Make sure the neighbors don't see you. It was this ancient sales rep that used to call on me years ago. He would call my desk, and then when I went to voicemail, he would like not hang up properly. So it would just record for 10 minutes. So I got to hear him in his car talking to another sales guy. Did you see the tits on that new receptionist? God, she was driving me crazy with that tight pink sweater. It looked like it was going to burst. We all just sat around listening to it in horror. And I thought to myself, hello, HR department. I have a recording you might want to hear.
All right, either you or Lush. Can you tell us about our feature interview this week?
I'll take it this time. Our feature interview this week is with Lou Mavs and Wayne Noon of the New York-based prog metal band Severed Angel. We get into the making of their latest album, When Eternity Ends, as well as discussing video shoots, horror films, and stories from each of their respective podcasts. So stay tuned for that.
Let's play a song. This is Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/snaggletoothpodcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get a runaway cat litter pan full of market stays.
Yeah, we do spend a lot on the show as far as going to concerts, getting t-shirts, as well as the 3,000 subscriptions we have to make this thing
Sure
work.
happen. Yeah.
Whether it be the editing or the animaker.
But
So
we are able to get quality swag like
there you go.
this. I mean,
Now,
where
how much
else
would you pay?
how much would you pay?
So anyway, for less than you spend on a Happy Meal, you can help this show out and get tons of exclusive content that no one else but our patrons get to see.
Yep. More wacky reviews, book reviews. I'm just finishing up the Van Halen book now, Alex Van Halen's book Brothers, which is great. I'll have a full review of that up soon. And Stace is going to have all kinds of cool gardening tips soon because we're getting into that time of year.
Yep. Out
Totally.
to go get the dirt.
Speaking of dirt,
Oh,
I think it's time.
oh God.
Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay, I'll have you know that I did these exactly the way I always do them. At the very last minute. So I'm never getting the show notes ready. And it's always like, it's just one thing I'm forgetting. I did all the reviews and oh, it's obnoxious trivia. So anyway, they're slightly rushed, but I think they're effective. Number one, what was the largest land-based dinosaur, which was over 130 feet long and 70 feet tall? A, the Argentinosaurus. B, Longisquama. C, the Jeholeptrus. Or D, Parsardolophus. Parsolophus.
I always kind of thought I was up on my dinosaur lore, but I have heard of none of those.
I can't pronounce any of those, apparently.
God, this is a real stab in the dark. I literally have heard of nothing. A sounds completely made up. Sounds like it's an Argentinosaurus. Let's go with C, Jeholeptrus.
I'm sorry, Argentinosaurus is correct.
Oh my God.
Yep. It's really freaky when you think about it because how big is a whale? A whale's nowhere near 130 feet long. I mean, it's like it's less than half of that. So this is a big fucking
But I
big
do
fucking dinosaur.
find it interesting that they totally have changed from saying they were closer to reptiles to now admitting they were birds.
Yeah, all because of the movie. Okay, number 2. In real estate, which of the following facts about a house must be disclosed to prospective buyers? And no, you cannot call our son as a lifeline. Due to a 1991 Supreme Court decision. Is it A, your house has asbestos siding, B, aluminum electrical wiring, C, terracotta drainage pipes, or D, ghosts?
I think you also have to disclose if a murder happened in the house. Wasn't that in Murder House? They had to tell him. Anyway.
I'm not throwing that one.
I want to say asbestos siding because that was a problem for a long time.
It's D, ghosts.
Are you kidding?
If the house is haunted, that's what it's called. It's called the 1991 Ghostbusters decision.
Oh my God.
I knew you would never get that. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it has to be disclosed. So I did pretty good on it. Okay. All right, number 3. She's 0 for 2, folks. Who was the considered originally for the rapping part in Rush's song Roll the Bones? A, Michael Stipe, B, Ice-T, C, John Cleese, or D, Kurt Russell?
I think I read about this. Was it C, John Cleese?
Ding, ding, ding. You finally got one. Yeah.
I think I
And
read
then
it.
Getty just decided to do it himself. One of Rush's worst moments ever.
I don't know if John Cleese would have done any better.
You know, what's his? I was thinking about this. I almost made this the question. In the video for Iron Maiden, Can I Play with Madness? There's like this wild-haired professor guy. It's Graham Chapman from Monty Python.
Oh,
He's in an Iron Maiden video, like the
Wow.
whole video.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so music and Python. Okay, let's round it out. She's got one, folks. Number 4, what country produces the greatest number of figs each year?
Apparently Parkville from the neighborhood app where someone was looking for figs.
Figs.
What else had figs?
Figs,
I was
figs,
like,
figs.
okay.
Okay, is it A, the United States, B, Brazil, C, Turkey, or D, Albania?
Wow.
Figs.
I don't think it's Brazil. I'll go with Turkey.
You are correct.
Wow.
The Fig Newton Company thanks you. So you pulled it up at the end there. It started off rough, but then you got it. Very good. This has been Obnoxious Trivia. Well, that was sprightly, wasn't it?
Yeah, the other thing you got me with figs is I didn't think figs grew like in Brazil.
All those countries are on the list. They all
Ah.
produce, but you know, the Turkey's the one that, you know.
That was a lucky guess on that one.
All right, so it's time for our Snaggletoon, and we decided to list out things that bosses should never do. All of these are true stories. The first thing that a boss should never do is demonstrate to you how much free time he has. I walked into my boss's office one time and he asked me to help him with something. He was writing a letter to the Ralston Purina Company and asked for my input.
To whom it may concern in R&D, I am writing this letter on behalf of my tuxedo, Senorita Lolly Britches. The senorita has been extremely cross since you changed the formula in the wild turkey casserole for sensitive tummies brand of cat food. She has shown little interest in her ball of string or her rubber mouse, and frankly, we're all concerned. Will the original formula be reinstated, and when? Yours, Make It Sweeter for Senorita.
Wow. That was his 3rd draft, apparently. So, yeah. Then there are some bosses who are so miserable outside the office that they try to turn the workplace into their personal social life. They'll pay for a round of drinks just to lure fake friends that are actually captive coworkers. It's like, hey gang, who's up for happy hour? It's 2-for-1 margarita night at Filthy Frank's.
Like, Filthy Frank's? That sounds like a place where you leave with pink eye and a throaty cough. So I politely decline, right? I say, thanks, but I was going to exercise tonight. Suddenly it's a scandal of, oh, of course you are. It's like I said, I can't come. I have an impromptu witch burning. Then they try to guilt you. Well, Trish and Lisa are going.
Cue Trish and Lisa looking shocked from their desks. We are? Now I'm the villain for wanting to run off some anxiety instead of drinking swamp juice at a place named after an unsanitary man. They act like I insulted their lifestyle. Ooh, look at Miss Goody fucking running shoes over there. We're just trying to have fun, okay?
Christ, it's bad enough I have to be around you 40 hours a week, but I'm not sacrificing a minute more. And anyway, the allure of hearing bad karaoke while drunk Brenda from HR dry humps a bar stool during Pour Some Sugar on Me just doesn't sound like an ideal night out. Hell, I avoid walking down the stairs together to get to our cars. On purpose. I wait to pack up until no one is looking, so the idiots don't wait for me. I have to at least be clocked in to deal with your stupid bubblehead nonsense.
How about this one? When your boss blatantly shows off that he's in retirement mode. Their answer to every work-related question is, will it really matter in 10 years? And I've been in this business for over 30 years now. I've seen it all. Meanwhile, they're constantly showing you pictures of golf courses or sailboats. What do you think of this one? It's like, yeah, I've got 3 people out sick and the phone is going ballistic, but sure, I'll take a look at the SS Do Nothing. Why not? Sort of similar. I had this one boss that he could not discuss anything work related for the first couple of hours on Monday morning. It was like his weekend needed an extra 2 hours to process. This was a common exchange. I would be like, hey, I'm glad you're here. We had a train derailment over the weekend, and now the plant is on the brink of the shutdown. And he would just go, so the guy came on Sunday to remove that tree stump in my backyard I was telling you about, remember? And then I'm like, hang on, I got to put 2 people on hold. An angry mob has started to form. And then he's like, anyway, he had this really neat circular saw I used to remove it. Here, let me find it. I got a picture on my phone.
Then there's the art of vanishing. This really takes a special talent. The moment there's any type of crisis, they evaporate into thin air. The auditors are here. They're demanding to see 5 years worth of past invoicing. Where is Doug? I swear he was in his office a minute ago. Look, his coffee is still hot. Half an hour later, he's mysteriously spotted in the lobby. Why, I've been here all day. What's the matter?
Also, I'm not judging anybody for their side hustle like the world's greatest podcast, but for some people, they take it too far. I had this boss about 5 years ago. He had a painting company on the side. I'd come into his office like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday to ask a question, and he'd be bleary-eyed, rubbing his face. Mark, I'm so friggin' exhausted. I was like, Christ, were you up all night painting the Statue of Liberty or something?
I had this coworker who claimed he ran a limo service on the side. Like, this guy would show up Monday morning, huffing and puffing like he'd just run a marathon. Rough weekend, he'd say. Had back-to-back weddings.
Stacy's like, what, you were sitting down, right? You weren't pushing the limo with your feet like the Flintstones, were you? He'd act like chauffeuring a drunk bridal party at the airport was combat duty. I've seen things, man. Cake on the ceiling, running mascara stains, champagne in the vents, killing resale value. I have seen some shit.
Turns out the whole limo thing was fake. Totes 100% made the fuck up, and he got fired for stealing. Apparently, the only thing he was transporting was company inventory, straight into his trunk. The limo hustle was just his cover story for taking sticky finger naps in the stockroom. Like, who chooses limousine driver as their fake side hustle? At least pick something believable, like an Etsy macrame dealer or a niche OnlyFans foot guy. You can't make this shit up. Or, well, he did, and that's why he no longer works there.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. Let's play another song. This is The Demons Alive. Okay, let's talk about hum nutrition. And we have some things to show off today.
Sorry.
Okay.
Cat drama. And just like it says, this was our box that came clean, clinical, and made for you. That basically encompasses Hum. They make great products that are proven to work, not just dumb stuff like Ozempic, which doesn't work.
Look at that handsome display case. Fuck Mary Kay.
That's right. We've tried something new. This is Turn Time. So this actually kind of helps with skin repair from the inside out, which makes a lot more sense than just slathering stuff on the dead skin on top. So this is something new. It actually helps with cell protection and even skin tone. So that's something new that we tried. Red carpet has long been a favorite of mine. It really helps with healthy skin and nails. Again, you can put as much lotion as you want. It's not going to help. For those a little older, like maybe some of us, who need a push for their metabolism, best the berberine. We have no crappy berberine in this house.
None.
This helps boost metabolism and weight manage support. I like to get it with a 1-2 punch. These are Pro ACV apple cider gummies. So these also help boost metabolism. And for your daily cleanse, no need to eat kale. This is celery juice fiber gummies.
I wasn't going to eat kale anyway.
So this will help. All of this and more is available at Hum on their website. If you are not sure what products are good for you, you can take their quiz. They have dermatologists on standby to answer your questions.
Are they the guys that study the dinosaurs?
Probably, yes. But anyway, use our link. It will save you off your first order.
Very good. Aha. Good one today. We've got Collecturbation is the live Flipper album from 1986. Public Flipper Limited. For all the volumes that have been written about how punk and hardcore reignited the spirit of rebellion gone missing from rock and roll in the late 70s, there's very little written about the boldness of these San Francisco-based noisenicks. Punks may have been anti-mainstream, but Flipper would prove to be anti-everything else. In a scene epitomized by politically charged lyrics and breakneck tempos, this band infuriated audiences with snail-paced rhythms, dark, off-the-cuff vocals, and sometimes blatant verbal abuse. Legend has it that if the band was heckled, they would just play slower and add 5 more minutes to the song to piss off the onlookers.
Whether it's Bruce Loose Calderwood or Will Shatter on bass, that burble is always the core of the band's sound, along with the steady stickwork of Steve DePace, giving guitarist Ted Falcone carte blanche to scribble along with atonal squiggles and the occasional power chord. From a DIY collectability standpoint, Flipper outdid themselves with this album that folds out into an actual band-themed board game, complete with cutout spinner, game pieces, and action cards.
Let's read some of the action cards. Keg Party with Barbecue, plus 5 points. Good Drug Score, plus 5 points. Busted for $1,500 worth of old parking tickets, minus 15 points. You get food poisoning from dinner bought by promoter, minus 5 points. Ted punches out promoter after band is paid, plus 5 points.
Promoter catches Steve with his girlfriend, minus 5 points, go back 5 spaces. Wake up in pretty girl's bed, plus 10 points.
Wake up in pretty girl's bed and she says she has herpes, minus 10 points. You get the idea. Anyway, for those of you that remember the review we did a few weeks ago of the Oblivion's uber rough 1994 live bootleg, it features out-of-tune guitars, no bass player, and radical herky-jerky drums that speed up and slow down at random intervals. Well, that record sounds like Dark Side of the Fucking Moon compared to this one. So check this out. This is the live version of Love Canal.
It's a release that goes against the grain in every possible way. Out of the 15 songs on this double live album, only 5 are from previous releases, demonstrating that Flipper was more about spontaneous composition than playing fan favorites. Not only are the performances as raw as an exposed nerve, elements that are edited out of traditional live albums are emphasized here. A concept best evidenced by the first several minutes that introduce Sex Bomb, as the band awkwardly demanding some beers before they start the song, because it's not too much to ask.
It's not too much to ask. Can we get some beer on stage? It goes on for like 2 minutes.
Bruce Loose follows up the 8-minute of loping bass and rambling vocals of Hard Cold World with an apology. Sorry, we really suck tonight. We're all hungover and dead from drinking. Nearly every song starts off with some sort of ridicule of the audience, like the intro into Cold Hard World, the band commenting, "If there was ever an excuse for nuclear war, it is Washington, D.C." Lyrically, the album ranges from 7+ minutes of harrowing social commentary on the horrors of starving children and the poisoned environment in We Don't Understand to Oh, 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 I, Oh, chorus, O, gotta write a song. If I Can't Be Drunk is an 8-minute dirge with a bass tone like a wounded moose call against the chorus. If I can't be drunk, I don't want to be alive.
He does have a point there. Brainwash is introduced as their only punk rock song. Will Shatter admitting, Ted drank a whole bottle of tequila last night and he can't even think right now. The band's tearing into a bona fide punk-informed gallop for a ripe 58 seconds before calling it quits. After which, Luce asks the question, "Am I Billy Idol yet?" To sum up, for fans of doom, sludge, and of course hardcore, you're at a severe loss if you have not paddled the sonic tar pits of this legendary four-piece. All of their albums are highly recommended, but this one, along with the legendary singles collection Sex Bomb Baby, really capture the dark art of these four drug and alcohol obsessed degenerates at the height, or you could say depth, of their depravity. Let's close it out with the live version of Sex Bomb. Okay, well, here's the interview.
This was a great talk with Severed Angel. Definitely made some new friends here and found out a lot of information. I love when we interview a band and they end up heckling each other. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, that's great. Plus, I like his little wings. We'll see that. Anyway, take it away.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
I wanted to ask you about your podcast because it sounds very similar to like things that we do.
Like reviews and interviews and yeah.
What have been like your most memorable interviews for good or bad reasons?
You first, Wayne.
My favorite band's Halloween. So any member that's been on our show from Halloween, those have been my favorite, like Ron Grappow and Marcus Grosskopf from the bass player. And I also had the drummer, and then he did the guitar player for Halloween. Those have always been fun. I haven't really had any problems. Oh, another guy that's really fun too, and you should get him on your show because he can talk for hours. King Fally from the band Deceased.
Oh, we're interviewing him.
cool guy.
Actually, we're interviewing him next week for the second time. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's a great interview. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
He's always
Yeah.
fun to have on.
Yeah.
And haven't really had too many problems. Just one guy, Glenn Drover. He was a real dick, and never made it through the show. I'm being
like
blunt.
like how? Like what was he? Just bad answers or no answers or?
I tried to get him to come on the show. We did a King Diamond podcast. I tried to have so many different members from the band King Diamond and Merciful Fate, and I messaged him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll come on the show, but let me know when everybody is going to come on." And I said, "Well, I'm doing them one by one. Not everybody's coming on at once." So I didn't really think much about it. So then I got Snowy Shaw, Michael Denner to confirm. So I told him, and he's like, "Okay, but let me know when everybody confirms." I said, "But it's not working like that. So let me know when you can come on the show. We could just do the interview." Then he just started being a real jerk, and I know we just told each other off or whatever. But he's done it to other people too. We have another friend who does podcasts, and he tried to get him on a show, and he gave him a runaround too. So he's just a jerk. You can put that out there. He is a jerk. You're a jerk, Glenn Drover.
Throwing dudes under the bus.
Yeah.
I think my favorite interview, we actually got to interview Albert Bouchard, the original drummer of Blue Oyster Cult. And there were so many technical difficulties during that interview, but we were having such a blast. Like we were having a good time, just like, trying to have a conversation. But he ended up liking me and Wayne and Greg, our co-host. So, he was willing to come back, and, he was like, "Dude, I actually had a fun time yesterday." So that was really cool to hear that, to hear that from a musician from a band that all of us grew up with just like loving. Bad interview. I hate to throw anyone under the bus, but I'll say that his name rhymes with Puff Pad. I'm not going to
Oh,
say
that
who it
wasn't that
is.
bad. That was a good interview.
Yeah, but like, I was going through some personal private trauma, so like
Yeah,
I tried to keep
I
it
get where you're coming from,
professional.
but that was a good interview though.
But fine, it was a good interview, but he was like saying all this stuff and like I was ready to like go through my laptop and like I wanted to strangle him, but I kept it professional. So
Yeah.
but that's the one interview you can see me gritting my teeth. And I have an underbite, so that's a big grit.
Oh yeah, understood.
See, look. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, thinking back to your cover band days, can you recall a cover song that was really hard to nail, whether it was the vocals, timing, a ridiculous solo? Which one gave you the most grief or the most pride at finally mastering it?
Go ahead, Lou. I'll let you do. I gotta think.
That first one that we did, Atomic Punk, that was done on a fluke because that was done during the pandemic, and it's when we lost Eddie Van Halen, who's a personal hero of mine. And I mentioned it to Wayne. I said, "Would it be cool if we covered a Van Halen song just to like pay tribute to Eddie?" And he said, "Sure." So we got him, and we got our bassist George, who at the time was at a band called Timeless Haunt, but he's been Severed Angels bassist since the inception of the band. He's one of the founding fathers of the band. And we got our friend Ralph Vieira from Rock and Metal Combat Podcast and the Almost Human YouTube page, and from the bands Combat and Thrash or Die, and he did vocals. That was my first time recording at home. That was my first time doing everything, all of us doing everything remote. So I was nervous, but I was so glad the way that it came out. I could also say that the same thing about our cover of On Through the Night that we did with John from the band Shockwire. The reason being is because Steve Clark is another personal hero of mine, and that was that track On Through the Night is off mine and Wayne's favorite Def Leppard album, High and Dry. So there was an emotional stake in it, and I was just like, God, I hope I do Steve's solo justice. God, I hope I do Steve's solo justice. And the crazy thing is, Karen Fairchild Meyer, who's a friend of mine who runs the Def Leppard Die Hard Facebook page, and Helen Colin, who's Phil's wife, who, I feel like Eddie Trunk right now, who I'm proud to call a friend, and also Lorelei Shellis, who at one point was engaged to Steve. All three of them said, "You guys killed it." So that was so rewarding.
The song that was hard for me to kind of learn was Atomic Punk, because trying to mimic some of the things that Alex Van Halen does on the drums. He's just such a great drummer. I had to go on YouTube to watch other people play those parts to see how to do something. And then the Rush song that we did, Time Stands Still, that was a little bit of a challenge because I'm not a huge Rush fan. So like trying to figure out how to play Neil Peart's drums, it's like, and so that was an easy song too.
You guys went for the Hold Your Fire era. Wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That was Wayne's idea.
Me. That was me. Most of the covers we do is mostly my fault.
I would have chosen Xanadu.
Well, exactly. Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, young mullet teenage Mark puked all over that stuff. But listening to like that era now, well, that stuff was great. I mean, compare it to Yes at the time or Genesis at the time. I mean, Rush, that Grace Under Pressure is a great record. The synth stuff is good.
It came on my shuffle one night, and I'm like, wow, this song's really good, and I think it will work with us because with Severed Angel, Alex kind of has a Geddy Lee type voice, and also we work with his wife too on some of our music, and there's a girl singing in that song too, and they just fit perfectly. So
that's the one with Amy Mann in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And Gail is like kind of unofficially the sixth member of Severed Angel because she's been on all the albums, and we love her. She's great. She adds value to our music.
Very cool. Yeah.
So getting to that was perfect. We're just getting to Severed Angel. What was the biggest force that kind of pulled this band together? Was it a shared musical vision? Let's see what happens, or something else entirely?
Wayne's a persuasive asshole. That's the best way I can put
it. Yeah. I started a band and then we released an album and we were kind of like, I don't know what's going on with it. So I wanted to do something else. Lou wasn't really doing anything, but I know he, wanted to do something. And our bassist George, his band Timeless Haunt was kind of like broken up already, and Mark, his band Nightmare Stage broke up, and Alex I knew because he mixed my other band's album, and I heard he can sing, and I'm like, I got another band going here, and hopefully I can get these guys to like want to do something, and they all did. So it was actually very easy to get this band together. Everybody just kind of just said, yes, let's do it. You know,
The next is strolling together. That's it.
yeah. I mean, like, we can all do it from home. We all record our stuff from home. We don't go to a studio and we have this big expense. So it's just very easy for us to just write our music. That's why we put out 3 albums already. We're already finished the 4th one and working on the 5th one. So it's very easy for us to
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So Wayne, are you like the leader of the band, or is it more like
No.
a democracy type of thing?
It's there's no leader in this band. It's Severed Angel is Severed Angel. It's all of us. I don't want, I don't want.
But I gotta put Wayne's talent over for being able to pick out what parts work and what parts don't. So I think having him is as our drummer, but also as kind of like the end, the final boss of arrangement really helps us.
Yeah, they love when I tell them I don't like that guitar note or keyboard sound or whatever. They love that.
Although there was a one time he's like, Lou, I don't like that part, and then I redid it again. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I did like what you did. It was what Alex did I didn't like. I'm like, son of a bitch.
So like, who's the peacemaker in the band, and who likes to stir the pot? There's usually one.
I'm the pot stirrer. I'm definitely the pot stirrer.
Zero hesitation, right?
Yeah. Alex usually, calms everybody down. He's the like level-headed one, I think. Right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for an argument out of me, I mean, I actually agree with him on that statement. When Wayne will say, Lou, I think you could do better. And then I'll do it better. And Alex will be like, I don't know where you pulled that out of, but that's better. So, it works. It works out.
Yeah.
I remember being 19 when I was we were in like a sleazy punk band. I was the guitar player, and we're arguing about wardrobe. And the drummer said, in 10 years, is it going to matter whether we do the green or the pink boa? And I said, yes, it fucking will. Absolutely.
We didn't have an actual image, I think, until this album. Because, I mean, I'll admit that first album, we were so out of place. It was, I mean, here we are wearing black, and then you have Mark, our keyboarders, wearing an Amorphous shirt. I'm like, does this fit? And then, the next album is like, we didn't even get together for the photo shoot. We just, took photos on our own. And here I am wearing an agnostic front windbreaker. I'm like, do I regret this? I mean, I don't. I love AF, so I don't. But, I feel like now we actually have a look for what Severed Angel is supposed to look like.
Yeah, that was your Wicked Lester stage, I guess, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
We bypassed Wicked Lester, so we went straight for Alive, so we're good.
Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah.
Also, too, we didn't know that this band was going to keep going. We just figured first album, we'll see what happens, and now we have like almost 5 albums ready. So it's now we know we're going to stay together for a while. So now we actually have to look like a band.
Gotcha.
Yeah, after album 1, we were like, what's next? I'm like, oh crap, I got a riff. And then I sent it to Alex. He's like, record that. And it just snowballed from there.
No, that's a good problem to have, though. That's great. Yeah.
So when you decided to add a keyboard player, did you have a sound in mind, like 80s prog? Yes.
No.
Deep Purple, or was it just like, let's see what happens?
Let's see what happens. For me,
yeah.
Anyway.
There was no plan to sound like anybody. It was just like, okay, who's got an idea? And like, I think Dogs of War was an idea that I had written in 2010. It was originally an entrance song for my wife's cousin, who at the time was an MMA fighter. Now he's an Army Ranger. And it was the first idea that I presented to Wayne. And he's like, okay, let's do something with this. And, when I wrote that, I was thinking, okay, it's for an MMA fighter. It's for my cousin Robbie. Shout out to Robbie Plotkin. Love you. Hope you're well. And the idea was, okay, if Pantera and Fear Factory wrote a song together, what would it sound like? And that's where I came up with the idea for the music for Dogs of War. And like, there are bits and pieces of my influences in the stuff that I contribute, but I'm not going out of my way to sound like it. So, when we realized we had an album, we're just like, who does this really sound like? And we're like, nobody, you know? And like, we all wear our influences on our sleeve, but I'm glad that we're not going out of our way to rip them off, which is funny because the European press can't stand that about us. Because like,
what do you mean?
Well, either we
they
sound
can't
too
pigeonhole
generic
us into a genre.
or we don't sound generic enough.
Yeah.
There's no pleasing them.
Yeah, they don't know where to put us. We could be power metal, we could be progressive metal, thrash metal. They want us to be in a category and they can't fit us, so they hate us.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
Square peg.
Yeah.
Can't jam it in a round hole. It's just not going to work.
Which is,
to
me, it's stupid because I listen to so much, as you can see behind me, I listen to a lot of different bands. It's not just metal back there. There's pop, rock, and everything else. So that's all in my head. I don't listen to music for one genre. I listen to music just because I like music. I don't want to fit things into a category.
Well, the reviewer has to actually do some work if it's, not easy to pigeonhole.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess they don't want to, So.
Right. They just want it easy for them.
It's definitely laziness. They're not going out of their way to like, expand their own tastes. There's definitely some bias there, but whatever keeps our name in the magazines, we don't care.
Yeah.
Love us, hate us, we're still us.
I like the negativity more anyway. It's fun.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I play in cover bands on the weekends and stuff, just as just for a reason to like go out and just jam with friends, I mean, I never looked at music as a way to make a living for myself. And I'm okay with that because once it becomes a job, I don't think I will enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why our stuff still stays fresh.
Yeah. No, it really does. Yeah.
So thinking about Mark, if he had to do a guitar duel with a keytar, would he rise to the challenge or would he politely decline with prog dignity?
Oh, he loves doing that stuff. Anywhere he can fit a keyboard thing in there, he's in there. he goes, sometimes he goes overboard too. Mark is very
mad scientist.
He just wants to get his keyboards in. Sometimes I gotta calm him down too. He gets really overboard.
Oh God, you guys should cover the song "Rising Force" with.
Oh
Yngwie.
No.
Yngwie versus what's the guy's name? The guy from Silver Mountain.
Jens Johansson.
Yeah, that song. Now that it doesn't get more epic than that, where they're just like
a battle,
trying to outdo each other. That would be awesome.
Yeah, Mark would love that.
Nope. You might kill each other in the process, but hey,
I'll kill myself in the process. Forget it. I was just listening to that today, and I'm like, nope, can't do it.
Imagine the egos in that room recording that song. Can you imagine? Oh.
Yeah, right.
You can hear it through the track.
You can hear it through the speakers. Yes. Yeah.
It's like, look at me. Look at me. It's like the Iron Sheik of rock guitar. Cameraman, zoom in. Look at me.
Yeah. What is it? You call that Phrygian mode? I can Phrygian mode all over your ass. Yeah. So.
The Phrygian jabroni. Anyways.
but going back to Mark with the keyboards, I mean, everybody in the band, well, like Mark has a lot of ideas. He's that first album, I think, is a lot of Mark's ideas, right?
Yeah, I mean the title track and a lot of the stuff that he layered over songs like Attachment Unavailable, and he did some great orchestral stuff for A New Beginning. Yeah. And he's such a vital part of the band that without him, I don't think the songs would soar as well as they do.
Yeah,
I see that. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. But like we all he puts in his input on song. Like he'll start like a piano thing on a song, and then Lou will add his stuff, and everybody adds their own thing. We don't say like you have to do this on drums, you have to do this on the bass. Everybody puts whatever they put in, and then when Alex mixes it, if it sounds cool, that's the song. There's no like I'm the boss. This is how it has to be.
It's cool.
So thinking about the band's personalities, which one of you would survive a horror movie? Which one would be killed in the first 5 minutes tripping over their own guitar cord?
Lou would survive the horror movie.
I don't know. You do have one Terrifier shirt for every day of the week, so I think you'd be Art the Clown.
And a pair of pajama bottoms. Who would trip though? Mark, because Mark is very flexible, so it wouldn't be Mark. Maybe Alex, because he's kind of clumsy.
Ouch.
Or maybe George, because he's got a bad knee. or Mad Hip. I think, yeah. George is old too, so he'll yeah. Well, I'm going with George.
How's that hole you're digging, Wayne?
So outside of music, is there anybody in the band that has a hobby or accreditation that might be surprising?
I don't know. Well, I collect CDs, records, and toys and stuff like that. I got a 3D printer, so I've been printing a lot of things. That's been
Wow.
fun. I love Terrifier. Got a Terrifier thing here. I don't know. I'm not really that exciting. What about? Lou doesn't really do anything. Do you?
I like to get Fender Stratocasters and modify them. Like actually, one of the ones I got, I did put Yngwie Malmsteen, Seymour Duncan's on it, and I love the way it sounds. But like I'm constantly modifying stuff because I'm a tone chaser. I'm a married man with a 6-year-old daughter, and I love taking her to soccer and dance and watching her practice with soccer. I come from a Greek family, so soccer's like religion, the way we were raised.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I collect Funko Pops too. Every year, my daughter gets me a Funko Pop for Christmas. But actually, on top of being a Funko Pop fan, I'm a very big fan of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
So I got this Majin Vegeta for Christmas from my eldest niece. So yeah, I'm a geek. I don't care. It's all good.
I think you'd look great dressed up at some Comic-Con event. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I actually saw somebody at a Comic-Con dressed up as Goku launching a spirit bomb. It's on my Instagram. I was like,
oh, cool.
All right, that's the best costume I've seen all weekend.
I think Mark does other stuff. Mark does yoga. I know he does yoga, and he's very into it, and he does a lot of things. I've seen one picture of him. He's climbing up. You know those people that climb like the ropes. They look like
acrobatic type stuff.
Like acrobatic type stuff. They climb these curtain things or whatever. He does all that stuff. He's hanging upside down. He does a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. So Mark's pretty good at that.
You got to be like, I was surprised by a lot of these places how in shape you have to be.
He's very in shape.
There's a place not too far that they're called Expose Fitness, and they do fitness by teaching you to be a pole dancer. Oh, I couldn't do any of it. I was just like, you think you're just gonna swing around. I was like, sink to the bottom.
Yeah. I can never climb the rope in gym. I still can't.
No, don't ask me to do pull-ups.
One hand. Yeah.
So all right, I want to ask you about the name of the band. So Severed Angel, is it like a reference to maybe Lucifer, or like what's the?
I wish. God, that would be so much cooler.
No, it's a funny story actually. So when we first formed the band, we formed early 2022. We were still in shutdown, and the world was in turmoil. It was divided. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I guess it still is. But I'm
sorry, but it's just funny the way you have the band picture behind you, because you look like Beetlejuice when he comes out of in that scene in that movie, and when he's got the wings coming out.
The wings are coming out. Yeah.
Oh, that is pretty cool, actually. Okay.
I just noticed that.
So I was thinking like polarizing viewpoint. I'm like, that is a stupid name. But I went into a thesaurus. I went to thesaurus.com and I typed in, a synonym for polarizing viewpoint, and it came up severed angle. And I was like, that's an even dumber name. But then Alex incorrectly wrote Severed Angel in Messenger, and I'm like, that's it. And what I was thinking of, I was, like I mentioned at the time, I was going through a lot of personal turmoil, unemployed. I had lost my mom to COVID. So I was like, you know what? I felt, beaten as down as someone could be. But like, rather than cower and, retreat from it, I was like, you know what? I got to fight back, because no one's going to help me other than me. And then I was kind of thinking Severed Angel. I'm like, because the word angel, people connotated with religion, and we're all 5 guys with different ideologies when it comes to faith or lack of faith or whatever. So we made it a point that religion and politics wouldn't be a part of our music. But I was like, the idea of an angel is sort of like a protector, and Severed Angel being sort of like a protector who's had the shit kicked out of him, but it's still rising to like take on whatever adversity it faces in life. And I was thinking, you know what, that's pretty inspirational. So I thought it would be a good name to like promote an idea of hope to people. So, there's nothing negative about it.
Well, who drew that kick-ass gunmetal logo? Wow.
I think that was Wayne.
No, it wasn't me. I wish I could do stuff like that. Some guy on Fiverr. We get a lot of people on Fiverr. Actually, the guy on Fiverr did the logo, and there's a guy on Fiverr that we use. His name is Ale.
It's the same guy. His name is Ale.
That's not the same guy. The totally different guy.
Oh, we use a different guy? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, two different people. But Ali's been doing all the album artwork. So Fiverr is a very good place to get some really good artists.
Yeah. There's nothing AI about our artwork.
No.
Yeah. No, I
take that D aside. Ha! Sorry, couldn't help it.
You got to keep that logo though. As soon as you change it, you can't do the big four thing where you try a different logo, because as soon as you try a different logo, the music sucks.
Well, we do have a variation of the logo, because like on the last album, the wings that you see on the back of that one there,
yeah,
it didn't really fit with the album cover, so we took the wings off, and it looks good with without.
It's still but it's still pretty much the same,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's not like.
But now the wings
are. Stomp 442 or whatever,
Yeah, where they completely changed the logo.
Where they completely changed, yeah. And all four of them are guilty of it. It's so funny,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we just removed the wings. We're not changing the logo. That logo is pretty cool.
Can't do that now.
I love it. So you've released a full 8th album every year for 3 years. Well, some bands will take like decades or more between records. What's the secret behind keeping up that kind of quality and momentum?
We just don't stop writing. There's as wonderful an idea it would be to go out and play shows. The logistics behind being an independent band and investing whatever funds we get into gas or lodging or whatever, it doesn't work for us, especially considering that 3 of us have kids under the age of 10. So our roles as dads comes first, but that doesn't mean that inspiration has to stop, and at the end of the day, we just want Severed Angel to be recognized for quality songs, because these are songs that we write that we want to hear on playlists with our favorite artists. Like, we're fans of our music as much as people who actually support the music. So that's really just been the inspiration, is just, we just don't stop writing, I mean, even though we may take a break, the hamster wheel is always running.
That's good. Yeah. I think that it really shows by the diversity of your songs as well. I love
I'm afraid to stop too, because I'm afraid if we stop and then we get to the next album, like, oh, this album's not as good. Like, what do we do now? Like, so we can't stop. We got to keep going.
I'm working on stuff. I just haven't sent it over for album 5. So
I'll hope
I will send. I played one for Alex. He was just like, "That's amazing." So
he says that about everything, but I'll be the judge.
That's why I didn't ask you anyway.
I really like on this album how many of the tracks are very different from each other in feel. Some are a little more heavy metal, some have more orchestral touches, triumphant keyboards on some. Have you heard people compare you to a band, and do you think that they came close or just didn't come close to hitting the mark?
Some of them were a surprise. I can't remember which ones, but I was like, really? You think we sound like that? Do you remember? Because it's recently, some of these reviews that we've gotten.
No, I can't recall.
I can't remember either. I don't know. But it is a shock when people say, oh, they sound like this band. I'm like, really? It's how do you get that from us? I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember the damn bands. I don't know. I'm sorry. I have a terrible memory.
I mean, it's funny because the label asked us, like, give me 6 or 8 bands that you think you sound like, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
it's tough because there's so many different styles in our music. It's like, I don't know. Who do we pick? You
should pick like just something completely wrong. Just be like, all right,
yeah, we sound like
the Doobie Brothers first and foremost.
Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark.
Yeah, exactly.
New Order, Joy Division. I don't know.
Just polar opposite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
New Kids on the Block. There you go, Wayne.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait till you check out our synchronized dance move. Yeah.
But like you mentioned, like every song is different, and it kind of scared me because I was like, how do we make an album out of these songs? Because they're all very different from each other. And we all came up with a track listing, and we were actually all pretty much in the same range. I think we switched maybe 2 songs or whatever, but I really did not know how to put this album together because I thought maybe it was just going to be all singles and we would just go like the digital single route for a whole year, But when we did, make that track listing, it works out. It really does flow fairly well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one track that we wrote for the album that was sort of like I guess you could say like an afterthought was Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
Yeah.
Because originally that song was written for my friend who's a director. His name is Thomas Edward Seymour. He has released films under Trauma, the guys that did Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High. He did the 2 documentaries, VHS Massacres 1 and 2, and he approached me about doing the theme song for VHS Massacres 3. And when we read what the treatment for the film was about, we decided to come up with A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. And, the intent was to give it sort of like an 80s feel, which is why it has that whoosh of keyboards in the beginning, which again, I have to credit to Mark because he pretty much wrote the basic track. The only thing I contributed was the bridge to it, which was which ended up helping it. But that was the only one that we kind of wrote at the end, and we were like, you know what? Even though the film's not happening, although Tom said, maybe at a later date, he can use any of our songs, or we could write another one for him. But we just said, you know what? This song is too good to not be on the album. So, once we had it, we're like, okay, we're good. We're done.
I know the band now that you mentioned that song. Somebody said we sounded like Blue Oyster Cult in that song, and were we influenced by them? And I did not hear Blue Oyster Cult in that song.
No.
No, not at all.
No. It's definitely like a big 80s sound. Like I get more like Yes or something like that.
Yeah. The Blue Oyster Cult. I was like, where do you get that from?
I think they got it because that's the one where the 5 of us are actually singing background vocals during the chorus. So I think that's what it was.
It could be. Interesting. It was interesting.
I love the layered vocals in that too. So is it a prerequisite for you guys? You have to do a little harmonized test that you'd be able to sing to be in the band?
Not at all.
No.
Alex and I did vocals for the first 2. He sang and I did the harsher ones. This was the first album that I didn't do any harsh vocals on because I was doing it for a long time because I was in hardcore bands. So it was really easy for me to like get those highs and those high and low screens. But Alex was actually taking vocal lessons and learned how to use his voice and diaphragm better. So on this album, it's all him. That's
I sang on the first album.
I did
In the Red, and I never did a song ever again. It was terrible.
And he's like, Lou, it's on you now. So
So if you could pick a celebrity who is a wolf in sheep's clothing, who would you pick?
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
I never bought into the hype of the Kardashian family. I never did.
They're always safe to go after. Yeah.
I don't understand that for the
OJ? I don't know. He's dead.
I'll tell you what. The original Nordberg was so much funnier than him. I mean, if you ever watched when Police Squad was a show, the guy that played Nordberg in the TV show was a scream. Like he had the mojo. OJ did not. So just
Mm.
saying.
Oh, Wayne, who do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
I mean, we're aware of celebrity culture, but you know,
I
we
don't
really
watch
don't
TV
pay
anymore.
attention to it.
I don't. I'm so wrapped up in my podcasting and my band and all the music I do and everything. And I don't know. I don't really keep up with everybody, all the celebrities and stuff.
How
like
about
that.
anybody who runs a Ponzi scheme? That's always good. Bernie Madoff. There you go.
Yeah, but is he a
They
celebrity?
got him.
Yeah. I get.
You know what? Maybe for all intents and purposes, we'll say The Rock because a lot of fans are really mad about
There
his
we go. Yes.
lack of being at WrestleMania. So it's on you, Dwayne.
We'll go with him.
So with the Fall of Rain, that kind of intro track, was that written early as like a jumping off point, or did it come after, kind of as finished after the landscape was finished?
That wasn't at the end, actually. Alex was thinking of an intro, and that's all him doing the programming and orchestration, and that's Gail's voice. So yeah, that's solely him doing it, and it was done at the end of the recording.
And it just some kind of intro for the album, so it just fit perfect.
Yeah, it fit right into Through the Eyes of Time. If you purchase the album from our Bandcamp, severedangel.bandcamp.com, when you get the digital download, the last track is actually both Fall of Rain and Through the Eyes of Time combined.
Oh, wow.
So, question for you. So, in addition to the female operatic vocals, the intro, it's so striking. How did the collaboration with Gail Bork come about? I mean, and did she come in like with that part in mind, or did it just kind of happen?
No, when we did the debut album and we had that song,
A New Beginning.
A New Beginning. It's a song about a guy and a girl together, and we needed somebody. We needed a woman vocalist to sing in there, and Alex was just like, Gail can sing, and then I was like, okay, let's try. We had some other people in mind, but he's like, Gail can sing, so let Gail do this and let's see how it is. So I said, all right, let's try it out, and she did like perfect. She was perfect. That was exactly what needed to be done. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, she's been on every album, at least one song on every album so far. She's even on the next album. She's on that too. So
yeah, and then she does sit a potty on number 2. So
yeah, so she's going to be on every one. We're going to work her in there somehow. Just like on this album, I had an idea to put her on Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, but some reason she didn't get in there. So I guess from her not being on there, Alex, we needed that intro, and then Alex put her on that. It works. So she's on. I didn't realize
it was her. I thought it was AI.
I thought it was all not AI, but like a computer program,
AI.
But no, anyway. It was her. Not AI. Don't say AI. We're not AI.
Fine. Well, we're not AI. But I was like, I didn't know Gail could sing opera. So I was like, damn, girl, you go.
Yeah, she's she can do a lot. She can do a lot than we actually knew about. So she's awesome. Yeah, we don't need anybody else.
Most of the songs in the album feel kind of like third-person epic tales told by some cosmic bard, but Shreds felt a lot more personal and confessional. Was that perspective intentional, or did something kind of happen to kind of shift to more me-I type viewpoint?
I think growth is just a natural evolution of every person. And, whatever trials and tribulations you face in life, the point is you just have to keep going. And that's really what Shed is about. Originally, I thought with the band name, it would instill hope in people. But the crazy thing is, at the end of the day, you have 3 albums worth of material where there's no blackpilling on any of our songs. And yeah, sometimes you have to achieve personal trauma before you can ascend to greatness. And that's really what Shed is all about. So, I think Alex's lyrics were very poignant and they matched the music perfectly.
Really, really well.
So the video for Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, how was the shoot, and did anything funny happen during the shoot?
Blinding.
That was yeah, we did actually that all three of the new videos that we have, they were all done the same day or the same like 3 hours. We just rented the studio and just shot as much as we could. And the shooting for that song was the last thing that we did. And yeah, it was blinding because I had a strobe light and we were trying to figure out how to do something different, because we did 2 band videos. We didn't want to do another band video. And the guy that was doing our filming, he was like, let's try this. Let's pick a shot of your head and you guys are going to sing the song. And it came out really cool. I edited that video and I was like, what am I how am I going to have Alex be this whole entire video? And then we're just coming in on the chorus. What am I going to do? And then I found all these other things to add into that video, but it worked out. It worked out really well. It was actually a fun video to make and to to see how it came out. It came out pretty good.
And shout out to Stan Ev, who directed it, and also to Gail, who was assistant director behind it.
I'm still seeing the flashes though from that.
Actually, the recent reel we just put on social media shows a little behind the scenes. Just a cute little like 1-minute thing that I put together. But our next video for the album is actually going to be Like Lightning, which is going to be animated by Mandir, who did Tyrant on the Throne. And I'm in the process of doing a treatment for the title track, which is not going to involve any of the band members because it's supposed to be a more of a, not topical, but, cinematic, I guess you could say, style video. I think the album, I think the song itself, When Eternity Ends, is deserving of its own epic, like, short film that goes with it, because I just feel like that song hits so many people on so many levels, and I wanted to bring it to fruition.
I will say though, oh sorry, I will say though, the next time we do like close-up videos like that, like the Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, some of us need to do some nose hair trimming and ear hair trimming, by the way. Okay, not me.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. All right, it was me.
Yeah, this isn't a problem in your 20s, but later in life, yes. Yeah.
But the hair slowly coming on the top and grows everywhere else.
Yeah, you could shave that day, and then that day of the photo shoot, it'll be growing out of your nose. It's crazy.
I'm always stunned when I find a hair somewhere that's like 8 feet long. I'm like, where
did that come from?
Right.
And it's coming out of your ear. Like, why?
I know. It's part of getting older. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I really like it almost seemed like a Black Mirror type production with the virtual reality goggles and the people in plastic coats, and they kind of seemed like they did not good things to them at the end. Who kind of came up with that storyline?
Nobody. It just there's a website, Envato, and they have a lot of really cool videos you can use. You have to pay for it, you get a license and everything. And I was just looking for something that's going to fit this song, and those videos fit this song. Like, it looks like there's something going on. And at the end, especially at the end, like, whatever happened with that guy with that mask on, he's sitting there smiling, it just fits the song.
Yeah.
He looked like he kind of got his lobotomy or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like he was just happy to get whatever he got out of whatever he was doing. So I I don't know. I'd like to know what was going on in that.
I think we did a good job of making it very 80s B movie, Wayne. Good job.
Yeah, it came out good. I wanted something that was like that had the neon colors and the 80s type theme to it, and it just worked perfectly, So
I was like, wait, was he watching you guys flash by in that thing? Or
that's
right.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
We fried his brain.
Yep.
It's like scanners, right? Yeah.
He heard the next Severed Angel album before anybody else. He was so excited.
Hey man, this is good.
I really also love the track The Demon's Alive. There's a lot of gritty vocal fry in that, right outside of clean vocals. It's a really great contest. Was that kind of meant to be like two battling forces or an internal struggle?
When I wrote the riff, I was thinking very like Hammer / Italian horror film type thing. And it just happened that Alex's treatment of the music with his lyrics fit perfectly. Like it was almost symbiotic. Like I didn't know he was going to go for that, but what he did worked perfectly to a charm.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can really say about it. And I wanted to make it scary. I wanted to make it fast, and then I wanted to make it menacing when it breaks down. And he captured it.
Yeah, it's my favorite
Really,
song of the
really
whole
good.
album. Yeah.
Do you think you guys would ever do would you guys ever do like a concept album, you think?
I don't know.
Funny you mentioned that.
We'll think about it. The next album's a concept album.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Yep.
So we do play a game on the show. Normally it's 5 random questions, but since there's 2 of you, I'll have you each pick 3 numbers. And they'll correspond to questions you will answer. Who wants to go first?
Oh.
So 3 numbers between 1 and 100.
Wayne, you first.
3, 16, and 32.
Number 3. Have you ever walked in on someone in a public restroom? And if so, what did you do?
Walked in on oh my God. It's not that I walked into them, but I recently I had to go to the bathroom in Walmart. All right. Now, there are all stalls in there or whatever. But I'm trying to go to the bathroom and the other guy in the other stall is watching something on his phone. But it's not in English. And he's sitting there screaming and yelling. I didn't know what to do.
I don't know what to say to that.
It was very hard for me to go to the bathroom and finish my job there, but I was very concerned for the guy. I don't know what happened to him, but it sounded like he was having some problems in there.
It could have been a very intense Zoom call. You don't know.
It could have been. It could have been. There was yelling.
Yeah.
There was some like Chinese things going on. I don't know. There was yelling, screaming. Maybe it was a soccer game. I have no idea.
What do you mean the stock's not going to be ready on the 14th? Jesus Christ, you know how this is going to affect me? Yeah.
I had a horrible, right after we first started coming back from COVID, I was working in a restaurant and we were supposed to spray the bathrooms like every 20 minutes with Lysol. And I was in a hurry and I had 3,000 things to do. So I grabbed the Lysol, threw open the men's door, started to spray when I realized there was someone using the urinal. So I just wrote that back out. Like, I Febrezed them. There we go.
That's funny.
I always tell Stace, because the women she works with, they're very like concerned about the bathroom, the state of the bathroom. And I always say, men, remember Saw, like the dead body in Saw that's like laying between them? Men will just step right over that to get to the urinal. We don't care.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
We gotta go. I mean, I don't even notice the body. There was a body in there? I don't know.
He's already dead. Fuck it.
I mean,
I'm difference on the body.
Like I used the ladies' room one time at my office. There's potpourri in there. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. I mean, very different. Very different.
Completely different.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I'm glad I never walked in on anybody, thank God.
Okay.
Stacey, am I picking my own questions?
Yes, it's my turn. Wait.
All right, go.
16. Do you like the way you look in hats?
Actually, yeah, I used to not like the way I looked in hats, but since I had to shave my hair, because I wanted to, no other reason, I started wearing some hats, and I'm surprised I didn't wear my hat tonight, but yeah, I do like the way I look in hats now. I'm okay with it.
Number 32. Are you a morning person?
I'm an every time of day person. Yeah, I get up, the alarm goes off, I'm up. If it's time to go to bed, I go to bed. There's no time of day where I'm not like, I hate this time of day. I have an early time. I have an early job, and I get done early, and I'm free to do as I please when I get home, and until the the wife and son get home. But I'm good. All day is my day. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm not a morning person at all.
He's not. No.
He got me a sign that says a fun thing to do in the morning is not talk to me.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I had a patient walk in
me.
the other day early, and he's a regular, and he says to me, "Have you had your second cup of coffee?" I said, "I have." He's like, "Oh, good, then I can talk to you."
Yeah. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't be.
All right, you are up. 3 numbers, sir.
13, 37.
You did 13 already. I picked 13, didn't I?
Oh, you did 13 already?
Or no, 16. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
All right, 13, 37, 69.
Of
All
course, you had
right.
to pick 69. You
Why
pervert.
not?
13. What would be on your ultimate sandwich?
Oh wow. Chicken cutlet, American cheese, lettuce, tomato, and ketchup,
Nice.
and hot sauce for good measure.
Ketchup?
All right, scratch the ketchup. Hot sauce.
No, well, that's for your sandwich. You want ketchup on, you can have it, but ketchup
Put sriracha on it.
on that. Oh,
Oh,
Ketchup.
I like a hot sauce. You give me crap for liking lucharitos.
ketchup. You can. Oh, come on, please. They don't even know what
Lucharitos has
is.
good food.
No, they don't. Stop kidding yourself.
You don't know good
You
stuff.
don't know what Mexican food.
You
tastes
don't
like,
know
so stop
nothing,
it. You're
Jon
Greek.
Snow.
You should only be eating Greek food. So stop.
That is a racist statement, sir. You are a racist.
We could log off and come back if you'd
No,
like us
no.
to.
If your head would come
We're
off
gonna
at the
settle
mouth,
this
you
now.
look like a Canadian.
You don't like lucharitos. It's not real Mexican food. Now stop.
You think Chipotle is real Mexican food?
No. I had senior taco tonight for dinner. They were Mexican.
Oh, senior taco. There you go. One step above Taco Joe's. Sorry, go ahead. Next question.
If you like hot sauce, I don't know if you've tried Old Bay hot sauce, but if you
Old
make
Bay?
your own shrimp salad and mix that in with the mayonnaise, it's perfect.
It's really good, yeah.
Oh, thanks for the tip. Yeah, no, I'm a hot sauce fanatic. I guess that's another thing that I love. I'm always looking for good hot sauce. So
That's a staple in our household.
You did that hot
Alright.
wing challenge too, right? Like a couple.
oh
years
yeah,
ago.
for my first video podcast. Yeah. Don't try double insanity. Make sure that if you try it, don't let that be the first one you try. Build your way up to it, because in the hotter ones after that, your mouth's already numb. You're good.
Oh, your taste
You're
buds are singed off.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, we're up to 37. Do you have a body gel or bar of soap favorite scent?
Dove sensitive skin, I guess.
No Irish Spring.
Irish Spring. If it's on sale at Walgreens, then yeah, sure.
Is there a Greek soap? Because Irish have their soap. Is there a Greek soap?
Yeah, is there?
A
Yeah,
lot of
Mythos
countries.
beer.
Is it feta? You just
Tzatziki
wash
sauce.
it feta.
I'm
A lot
gonna
of countries are
ring
not
your doorbell and
represented.
run, Wayne.
Mm.
I think we all know what 69 is. What are your feelings on taxidermy?
Is the animal already dead?
It's up to you.
All right. If the animal's alive, don't touch it. If the animal's dead, oh well. If you can make a buck off it, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a believer in animal welfare. I have a dog, and I can't stand it. It kills me when I hear about dogs, especially any animal getting abused, but like dogs and cats. I'm not a cat person, but I know Wayne is. Wayne is he's a good cat dad, and my dog's like my best friend. So whenever I hear or see anyone abusing a dog, I go into a frenzy. So would I ever buy anything animal made, like a fur rug or a fur coat? No. But
Did you ever own a rabbit's foot?
a rabbit's foot?
Yeah, did you ever own one?
No.
Okay.
But I'm also not one of those people where it's like, just because it's not right for me, like I know that the furrier industry is still a thing. I think it'd be a waste of my time to protest it, so I'm just like, you know what? If anything, the market will be the gauge of success or longevity for it. So I stay out of that.
You ever watch a horror movie and you're like, for God's sake, don't kill the dog. Don't kill the dog. Okay.
Oh,
just-
all the time.
Okay, so funny you mentioned that. Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh,
I
here we
remember when
go.
I first watched it, the hardest watch ever. I kept looking at my dog, my Shih Tzu, Wishes. I was like, nobody's gonna do that to you, boy. No one's gonna do that to you. Now it's like, I still watch it, but I'm like, okay, time to turn around. So out of sight, out of mind.
Halloween 2, Michael Myers kills a dog, doesn't he? I think he
No,
does.
the first one.
Is it the first one? Okay, the first one, yeah.
But
It's
it's
even-
just
even in what was that, 80, 81, 82, even then I was like, ugh, do we really need to do that? You know, my 11-year-old self was like, oh, good, kill the people, but for Christ's sake, the dog,
But you know what the amazing thing about the first Halloween film is? You never actually see the killings. Like you don't see, if you do see anyone get stabbed, it's from afar or it's off camera.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they didn't really kill the dog. It's like in Toxic Avenger when they shoot the dog. I knew the trick behind that. The dog likes sliding across the ground. So, they shoot the gun, and the next thing you see is you see the dog sliding on the ground, but it didn't actually get shot. But then when you see the close up of it with its guts out, you realize, oh God, that's spaghetti and meat sauce on it. I'm like, that poor dog has to get washed during that scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize that you don't actually see her get stabbed in Psycho because it's that sound and the blood flowing in the water.
Yeah.
Just the visual.
That's when horror is effective. Although I do love Terrifier.
It's the best movie ever.
A good one. So I did have one other question for you. I loved In My Skin. Who came up the idea to kind of with that choir effect? I mean, you got the growly fry going on, you got that choir effect. Was it actually like a choir, or was that kind of something sampled?
That's all Alex. Yeah, that's all his not sample
Programming.
whatever. Yeah, whatever like plugin things that he uses. Yeah.
But that's an interesting song because that's the first time that we ever did a song where the lyrics and the vocal melody was done first before music was even written for it.
Oh.
So Alex, gave us the vocal melody and the lyrics, and he's like, Luke, could you do something with it? I'm like, I think I can. And, it snowballed.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider if you were invited to a festival of maybe performing at a big festival?
Yeah, of course. We just have to find the time to practice, we need a lot of practice because we don't practice at all. But yeah, if we get an offer to do like what is it, Wacken or whatever out in Germany, something like that, yeah, definitely.
I love to do Loud Park in Tokyo. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So if you had like an unlimited budget, you could do anything, lasers, holograms, flame cannons, ridiculous costumes.
I'd fire Lou Mavs first.
And then hire me back.
And then hire him back, because I can't fire him. Continue, I'm sorry. It got me so excited I could get rid of him, but that's
dick. I don't know. I mean, just give me a stage to play on, and just make sure that you got some cool lights and some fog machines going on. I don't need the pyro. Because I don't want to take it. I wouldn't want it to take away from the performances or the music. So that would be cool. Light show and
like a blow up angel comes out from behind me or something. Like
we're not Iron Maiden. We don't need to blow up anything.
Well, I'm not blowing an angel up. That's terrible. I mean,
I don't mean blow the angel up, but I get what you're saying.
That was the Seventh Son tour. They really the blow up stuff did not go well for them. I mean, if you read about it, they.
Oh, you mean the Somewhere in Time tour when Eddie gives the finger to the audience? I remember. I heard.
No. It was somewhere. I saw Somewhere in Time tour. Now, it wasn't that one? When they did the tour for Seventh Son, they picked this vendor that had all blow ups. Remember, like if you watch the videos, you can see like Steve Harris standing on the hand of Eddie,
Okay, yep.
And apparently they were always deflating, and it was just it was a really bad. And they were like patching up the inflatables at every stop. It was just really bad. So some documentary I watched, they were talking about that. Yeah. So.
I just found out the other day that the band Ghost, the band Ghost, right?
Yeah.
The big background that they have like with the the church, whatever. That's all blow ups. That's not like
wow.
Yeah, it's all blow ups. I didn't think they would have a blow up. I think it'd be like swaying in the wind and stuff, but I guess it works.
Yeah. I guess the one that outdoes all of them is Rammstein because it's all fire, and you can't fake
the
that.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Woo!
I went to the MetLife Stadium show for Rammstein when they came.
Yeah.
I could feel the flames, and I was all the way in the back.
It's not bullshit. It's not. There's something about that band. There's something like how cold their videos are, And just the idea that they were just like, no, all the lyrics will be in German. And what's your stage show? Fire. And if you don't like it, you're like, and they're like bigger than Kiss. I mean, they're enormous. I mean, just you
Let's
have to
not get that.
admire the
Let's
you know,
not
the
get that
vision.
far.
They are bigger
No
than
one's bigger
Kiss.
than Kiss. No one. Ask Gene Simmons.
So if you were playing a show, whether it be Severed Angel or another band, and you could have one musician, alive or dead, just back there in the shadows, soaking it all up, who would you pick to be in your audience?
To be in the audience?
Yeah.
Oh,
Enjoying your
to
show.
watch us play. All right. I'm gonna go Dio. Everybody loves
Oh,
Dio.
wow.
Dio's awesome. He's an awesome singer. Very missed.
I would pick Tony Iommi because he's my ultimate guitar hero. Black Sabbath is my all-time favorite band. I had the honor of meeting him at a in-store signing, and I remember having a nice conversation with him. Aside from wishing me happy birthday, I told him that he was my biggest inspiration for being a guitar player. So I thanked him, and he said, "I hope to hear you one day."
Wow.
That's
So
cool.
it would be cool, to get the rub from Iommi one day. That would be cool. If you could just say, "Way to go."
What do you guys think of the final show, all the hype around the final show, the big Sabbath thing, the one show, one night only thing?
I think it's stupid, honestly.
I
Really.
mean,
Because
I have to agree with
they
you.
first they built it that Ozzy was going to be singing, and now he's not doing anything. So like, why bother at this point?
It was going to be him sitting down and singing, and now
which have been okay. I would have been okay with that. At least one song, but now it's
Yeah.
nothing. So like, I don't get it.
yeah, I'll wait for the videos on YouTube.
Yeah, it's
You're not going to buy your VIP pass to speak standing
Oh,
on the side of
hell
the
no.
stage.
no.
I mean, to me, okay. Again, I love Sabbath, all-time favorite band. I hated 13. To me, the last real
Yeah.
Sabbath album was Devil You Know. So, and I'll take that to the grave.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it's over. So I don't know why bother doing it, but I guess we'll see. We'll see what they do. I don't know. I just hope they don't have like what's his name, the guy with the drawings all over his face, Jelly Roll, or who's the other guy?
Well, Fred Durst is in it. I mean,
there you go, right there. There's a reason why you don't want to go.
I was shocked Jakey Lee was invited. That would have been my one reason for watching, because other than Randy, that's my favorite Ozzy guitarist.
Yeah.
What's the other guy that has tattoos all over his face? The one that sang with Ozzy. He was on the album.
Oh, Post Malone.
Post Malone.
Post Malone.
Yeah, I hope they're not going to have like all those guys come in and sing songs, because they were terrible when they did it not too long ago on something else. I forgot what they did on, but no.
Yeah, that's like when they did the Dolly Parton Rockstar album, and it was like I hated everyone on it. It was like Sting and who else was on it? Like
Rob Halford, I think, was on it.
Steven Tyler, and Rob Halford was okay, but I mean, just I was like, any excuse to get all these Z-listers together. I mean, why do we need this? Why do we need to hear Dolly Parton singing "Every Breath You Take" with Sting? Why?
We don't need that.
So, like someone in a suit in a corporate, conference room said, "I know what we'll do." It's like, what?
Now we got Beyonce doing country, so
everybody's trying to cross paths,
And again, this is what I love about being a member of Severed Angel.
None of us will get tattoos on our face.
Well, aside from that, but it's like, we're completely independent. We're self-sufficient. Whether we make money or not is irrelevant. This is our passion, and we don't have to deal with yes men or people saying, "Oh, you should work with that person or that person." We have our final say. We own the rights to our music, and I wouldn't trade it for all the money in the world. I'm good.
Yeah, that's what our real jobs are for. We have, the real jobs to make the money, and we spend that on making the music. So that's what we do.
Yeah, if we put out like a bit or a review or something like that, and it gets a lot of hits, I'm more interested in the 17 people that thumbs downed it than the ones that liked it, because I'm like, we pissed off 17 people. Like,
exactly.
17 complete strangers didn't like us. I love that.
Yeah, I love those too. We don't get many, but I love when I see them once in a while. nasty comment. And I'm like, oh, I'm ready for you.
Well, see, I'm kind of like the Bill Burr. Like I will go to war. Like if you shit on my lawn, I'm gonna say something about it. Like,
Yeah,
and
well,
we'll go back.
help
I'll
it.
go back and forth all night.
Oh,
I'm not
I'm
too big. Yeah.
I'm not good when it comes to live performances, and I get a heckle or I have someone saying you didn't play that note right.
Oh,
I used to play
God.
in a Rush tribute band back in the day, and I think I missed one note on the floor pedals for Analog Kid, and he gave me
Okay.
such shit for it. And I was like, dude, can you play bass? No. Can you play keys? No. Can you play floor pedals? No. Then shut the fuck up. It's just like
Yeah, it's not easy stuff to play. Yeah. Did you
that.
another thing I recently discovered was did you know that the Bare Naked Ladies actually recorded a few songs using Getty's Moog Taurus pedals from Hemispheres? It seems
Wow.
kind of anti it seems I cried a little when I heard that. It-
Uh, I mean, Canadian bands show love for each other,
Yeah.
like the Tragically Hip covered Limelight, and they did a pretty good
yeah.
version
I
for
know
the
it's a kind of thing, but still, I mean, Hemispheres, Bare Naked Ladies. There's no overlap there. I mean, at
It is
all.
odd.
It's just not right.
It's funny that you cry hearing about that. I had to see them like twice. So I was in tears.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Jeff, here's one.
This is Aawks with On Through the Sky Maze. There was an iconic old Reese's commercial where through a serendipitous collision, someone's chocolate ended up in someone else's peanut butter, and boom, a craveable new combo was born. Aawks kind of feels like that. Weird in the Woods occultism meets weekend bloodletting, you know you do. Black metal themes spiced with doom's reverberating weight, and then dusted with psychedelic astrology and mind-bending vastness of the universe. Their signature trippy-dippy swirl conjures a soundscape where genre lines blur and a maze of intertwining paths become the offer of the day. On Through the Sky Maze is the second full length from this Ontario-based quartet. Aawks delivers 9 tracks, all in the 4 to 6 minute range, ready to guide us through a wormhole of paradoxes, where, as they say, nothing matters, but also everything completely and totally matters. Is your head spinning before we even start?
Celestial magic lights the fuse on this cosmic trip. It's doom ritual time. Tolling church bells and what sounds like an old preacher ranting about demon possession. Aawks loves a good sample. Untraceable, uncanny, yet weirdly familiar. Crack open the sky, followed by squalls of shrieking feedback. We are not in Kansas anymore. Think skulls, tarot cards, pentagrams, and enough incense to choke a warlock. The layers of psychedelic sludge hit you like you've already had some chemical refreshments. No idea what would happen if you actually had taken some because your brain's already melting without them. Chris Ziersbicky's guitar staggers in, soaked in reverb and wobbling like someone trying to walk home after bottomless mimosa brunch. Parasino's guitar links up while Ryan Mailman's bass drips molasses and hums with mythic undertow. Then Randolin Babek's drums land snappy mid-pace punches, locking the whole thing into a Sabbathian groove that drags, drools, and vibrates like a rift opening under your feet. The soundscapes build slowly and ominously for over 2.5 minutes before Ziersbicky's vocals finally rise, melodic, airy, and shimmering like heat waves over asphalt. And just when you're lulled into a trance, Mailman lashes out with growls, gargles, and throat-wrecking retches, like a demon trapped in a summoning circle who is extremely not having it.
Death Trip settles into a gleeful doom groove right out of the gate, crunch-tastic and cycling like a washing machine agitator. Babbitt's drums snap and roll in a quicker jiffy pop rhythm, while Zerbicky's bass quivers with a palpable sense of dread. A mid-track breakdown with eerie drum echoes and warbling wavelengths creates an intermission of uncanny atmosphere. Screams and chortles sneak into layered vocals, churning and shifting like colors in a kaleidoscope. Let's play a song. This is Death Trip. is another standout, kicking off with a bass solo as thick as Big League Chew, bubbly and full of surprises that resurfaces later. Synthesizer whooshes lend a celestial air, while the guitar line will get every shaggy head bobbing before it buzzes up like angry bees, later soothed as if by beekeeper smoke. Sir Bicky's dreamy oohs and coos contrast beautifully with Mailman's occasional growls. Near the end, the guitar harmonies crack the whole thing wide open, flooding in like sunlight through a torn curtain.
My favorite track is Caradroia, named for a Welsh turf maze often used in ritual dance. Yet another maze right in the center of this existential journey. Guitars come in deep and restless like a shag carpet full of texture. The bass thumps slow like dripping gravy. After a feedback break, a seductive, burbling guitar line speeds up the whole affair. Vocals remain light, well, except for the growls, while the lyrics stay dark. I like to play among the bending summer moonlit walls. We dance around the death signs and the distant echoed calls. Faces washed in hellfire reflect burning fireballs. The doom grooves practically dance, and the vocal delivery intensifies emotionally during the chorus. The drums maintain a steady pulse until a hard pad drum and guitar trade-off creates a dance-off in your headphones, setting up a race over hot coals acceleration. By the end, everything gets fuzzier than Mentos dropped in Coke, as synthesizers wail like sirens.
Delve into journeys through collapsing spaces and mental planes, where omens and visions stretch beyond our understanding. Or just don a mask and man a pentagram point. Hit us up if you want us to play your shows, seance, or ceremony, Dare's Aawks Facebook page. Honestly, you should. Let's play a song. This is Caradroia.
Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is the new album from Bacon Wagon, Trauma Cake. The early 2000s were a strange, angsty playground for running an underground webzine. Our undersized P.O. box was choking regularly on mysterious promos from all corners of the globe. By around 2005, we were leaning hard into metal, largely fueled by our deep and abiding hatred for the Warped Tour bands, those mall punk mascots like Blink-182, Simple Plan, and Jimmy Eat World, who swapped punk vitriol for Hot Topic sugar highs. It was emo's fault, I guess. But if a CD showed up with one of those names where all the letters were squished together, like "She never asked me what time it was," or "I thought my order would be ready by now," it was a celebratory layup right into the wastebasket.
But somehow, the unimposing promo from Sweden's Bacon Wagon snuck into the review pile. Their debut, Savant, featured titles like Dead Puppies and Heart Attacker, which immediately appealed to our morbid curiosity. I was a goner from Drum Street, basking my corroded synapses in the clattering, sludge-baked ruckus crafted by brothers Christopher and Marcus Kinsberg. The guitar tone was granite, the bass tone a cosmic blower. But like so many unsung bands of the era, Bacon Wagon quietly disappeared. That is, until now. Apparently, the wagon got rolling again in 2023, and the magnificently titled Trauma Cake drops this June, marking their first official full length. 10 brand new noise nuggets, each one seemingly designed to stimulate and confuse your remaining brain cells in the most glorious ways. Let's play a clip. This is Love Blister.
The years have not mellowed these meat men one bit. Now operating as a trio with new drummer Peter Johansson, Bacon Wagon's sound is deranged and deliberate as ever. Lead single, a voodoo that actually works, is a strong intro into their toolkit. Buzzing bass, slashing power chords, and vocals that sound like a manifesto bellowed into a dead mic. I dug up my original Savant review that I wrote years ago. It went something like this. Pow, chunk, chunk, pow, chunk, chunk, squeal, crash, 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 chunk, lordy mama. Come to think of it, I think that review was way better than this one. Anyway.
Honey, I'm Home kicks off with a flipper-worthy low-end riff before exploding with Johansson's chunky snare slaps and Marcus's tangled atonal guitar squiggles. The repeated mantra of die, die, die loops like a broken toy, crawling straight under your skin. Hyena stumbles out of the blocks on a wounded lurch of riff heavy, bolstered by Christopher's iron groove of a bass line, as Johansson keeps things fresh with unpredictable snare and cymbal smacks as Marcus wandering into the corner to make balloon animals with his guitar leads. Discovering that Bacon Wagon still exists and is putting out unhinged gold like this is like finding a perfectly cold forgotten beer in the back of the fridge behind the OJ and the mayo. Pure joy. Head to their Bandcamp page and stock your sonic fridge. And hey, while we're on the subject, where are all those Warped Tour bands now? I think I saw the guy from Bowling for Soup picking up my recycling last week. Just saying.
Okay, this is Honey, I'm Home. Okay, Deaf Ears 3 is the new album from Sextile, Yes Please. There are albums that seek to wax philosophical, asking the big questions about philosophy, the lessons of history, and the fragile state of the human condition. And then there are some albums for just dancing your ass off. Guess which one this is?
The LA-based duo known as Sextile are back with the first new music since the 2023 comeback album Push. If you thought their experimentation with infusing EDM and punk rock on the last album was interesting, this one should throw you even more, as Brady Keene and Melissa Scalduto have effectively dropped the soundtrack to A Wild Night in the Rave Tent. 13 short songs, most of which will have you shaking your ass so hard you just may hurt something. Grab your bottled water and your stash of ecstasy for this collection of vocal coups, sick beats, and fluttering synth hooks that holds very little resemblance to a guitar-heavy past records like 2017's Albeit Living or their 2015 debut, A Thousand Hands. Let's start the party. This is Women Respond to Bass.
To bass, 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 bass. Respond to bass.
All right, as you've probably surmised from that little sample, this disc is packed with bangers aimed to get you out of your seat and shaking your yayas at maximum velocity. But make no mistake, the anarchy and rage are delivered in spades. Resist fades in like an MMA fighter has just entered the arena, and when that beat kicks in, it's full-on hip-shaking euphoria, infused with stops, restarts, and the occasional spoken word, resist, as Melissa shouts in protest, abortion bans killing women, and I'm ready to fight. Supreme Court graveyard, why don't they see? Push-Ups is a Don't Fuck With Me banger that features guest vocals from French art pop vocalist Jenny Beth, who delivers the sexy refrain, come on honey, aim and shoot, I'm not the type of person you want to push.
The one that I keep spinning this week is 99 Bongos, a track that rides a sick beat straight out of KMFDM's land circa 1994. Laces in cowbells and spoken word vocals about the benefits of chemical refreshment. Brady delivering lines like, change your form, bomb the rave, kiss your friend, and misbehave. In fact, the only respite track from this seemingly endless party is Closer, Soggy Newports, featuring wistful layered vocals from Melissa against music box chimes, for a trippy, flaming lips sort of psychedelic vibe. These two aren't going to help solve the difficulties of 21st century humanism, but it should get you out on the dance floor, twerking like your life depends on it. Head over to their Bandcamp page and grab the red and black Galaxy or yellow vinyl version of this bad boy today.
Let's close it out with 99 bongos.
It was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and we were at the cash and carry. We were all high on acid and stuff, where I couldn't see anything, and it was like just driving into the void.
Promoter buys dinner for band, plus 5 points. Free place to stay, no heat, no beds, lots of cockroaches, minus 10 points. Lost on the freeway, minus 5 points. Free drugs turn out to be scary diet pills, minus 10 points. This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Lou and Wayne from Severed Angel for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork by KC Angel. Deaf Ears bands this week that we featured, run out and check them out. Sextile, Aawks, and Bacon Wagon. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
All right, new voicemail for me. Sorry I'm not home right now. I'm walking into spiderweb. So leave a message and I'll call you back. A likely story, but leave a message and I'll call back.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.